Hi beautiful souls, it's Mon here. This is a channeled message for all of the divine feminines out there who are currently going through a spiritual awakening, a twin flame journey, or simply wanting to expand their consciousness. My name is Monica and I help people expand their consciousness. It is something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope that with some of the wisdom and inspiration, I inspire you to open yourself up to a whole new world of self-awareness that can be so transformational, so uplifting and empowering for yourself. In this short video, I want to talk about a topic that is very close to my heart and something that has been channeled through me since December really. I've only just sort of gathered my thoughts fully to be able to share this, and I hope that this message will inspire you to make some important changes in your life for you to find more fulfillment and joy. So what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the importance of allowing ourselves to have our needs met first. So many women out there, and divine feminines especially, have been born into families where we've observed templates. When you think about it, all parents, but the very first relationship we've observed and how they related to one another and to us as children. We've observed that relationship, the giving and receiving. Was it equally balanced? Was it reciprocal? Was there harmony? Or on the other hand, was there a lot of conflict? Was only a one side giving, and it could be the side that is more feminine in nature. It could be, I know my father, for example, has a lot more feminine energy. My mom is very masculine, and so as children we've observed those templates, the giving and receiving, and we would have not just observed it, but we would have saved it in our subconscious mind that stores 95% of our programs and beliefs, and we would have stored there as a template for relating to other people, and for what's sort of forming beliefs about what's expected from us. How do we keep a relationship? How do we maintain a healthy relationship? So-called healthy, because we basically reflect on those templates, and we use that to unconsciously to guide us when it comes to making decisions around relationships. So I would like to invite you to observe yourself, to go back to your childhood and reflect. What was your relationship with your mom and dad? Was it harmonious? Who was more giving? Who was more receiving constantly? And whether you could potentially have any unhealthy beliefs that are hurting you in your own life. So to give you an example, going back to my childhood, what I've observed in my own childhood is that I have shared this actually in other videos, but I have been brought up by a mom who had very narcissistic tendencies, very controlling. I don't think she's a full-on covert narcissist, but she had a lot of narcissistic tendencies, and that meant that I as a child had to walk around her on as if though on eggshells. I had to constantly I felt that I had to constantly try to make her happy, and I've learned that every time mom was unhappy, that it was hell. It was a hell in the house. It was, we as children, we didn't feel safe because she became very abusive mentally, emotionally, and even physically. And so I've learned as a child that The only way for me to somehow survive but feel like I belong to this family was to constantly give, was to give to my mom, make sure she's happy, was to give to my brothers and sister, my dad, and make sure everybody around me is happy, that there is harmony. I was the peacekeeper. I was the harmony maker, the person who was non-stop giving to everybody else but to myself. And on one hand, I thought that this was keeping me safe and keeping me sane and keeping everybody happy. But to be fair, deep down, I suppressed my own needs. My own needs for wanting to have a mother who gives unconditional love and support. I suppressed my own truth, what was important to me. I suppressed my own desires. I grew up incredibly fast by becoming a provider, the healer, the counselor, the nurturer to everybody else but myself. And I went on like this for about 33 years of my life. I'm consciously repeating these patterns, not knowing that I'm doing this. I would find friends who would just take. I'd work, people would just take. I was working crazy long hours till 3 o'clock in the morning. And everybody was just taking. And I got to a point, I had burned out a few times, in my career, working crazy long hours, didn't have any personal boundaries to say, when enough is enough. I was constantly giving, and you can only imagine how hard that must have been. It's hard for everybody. It's to live like that. It's not healthy. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because a lot of women have been brought up and especially women who have chosen at the soul level to incarnate into these toxic families, to observe these contrasts, these toxic templates, so that we experience it on our own skin, and we then innately, you would feel that there is something deeply wrong. Like, for example, I felt all of my childhood that I wanted a mother who would be my best friend, who would love me unconditionally, who would support me. I never got that. And but deep down, as far as my sort of nature, my heart, my higher self, my soul, my heart was concerned, I already knew and felt it, that this is the way to go. I was very awakened as a child, very aware, very conscious from a very young age. And I believe a lot of the divine feminines, a lot of the women who choose to go through a beautiful spiritual awakening in their lives, they observe some sort of contrast in their childhood, so that we can then have a perspective, we can have the wisdom, the experience of what it felt like, what it was like, what was wrong, so that we can then go into the world, and as we awaken, we start to heal those patterns, those templates, those limiting beliefs, and we start to not only educate ourselves and reprogram ourselves about what's true, what's right, but we also share that wisdom with other people around us, whether whether it's just our immediate family and friends, or whether we create a YouTube channel or a Facebook group and share our stories or experiences with other people to help each other, raise or consciousness and become much more healthier, emotionally, mentally, spiritual, physically aware, healthier individuals. My personal mission in life is to become the best version of myself I can be. More and more increasingly, I'm connecting with my higher self and allowing my heart, my higher self, to guide me in life, to tell me what's true for me, what's important for me. And this is very beautifully linked to the core message that I'm trying to communicate in this video, is to allowing myself to have my own needs met first, because your higher self already knows what's true for you, what's important to you, what you need to master in this lifetime for you to be fulfilled and happy. And by going around and pleasing everybody else and never allowing yourself to have that time to yourself, to connect with yourself, you're never gonna get there. You, at some point, you need to create, you need to, what I would basically love to encourage you to do is to sit down and reflect on all of your relationships, whether it's a relationship with your parents, a relationship with your romantic partner, a relationship with your close friends, relationship with your work colleagues, relationship with your children, and really look at every area of your life, and whether that balancing scale of giving and receiving is actually harmonious, whether it's balanced, whether it's equal, whether it's reciprocal, or whether you are potentially giving constantly to others and not receiving much back in some areas of your life. And if you do, then I would like to encourage you to go deeper in those areas and really ask yourself, what beliefs do you hold in your subconscious mind that are creating that reality in your life? So for example, if you find yourself that you have a romantic partner and you constantly giving endlessly and not feeling very supported, not getting much back, really reflect on, sit down, get quiet, put your hand on your heart, and ask yourself direct questions. What beliefs do I hold in my subconscious mind that are creating this reality with me giving to this person constantly and not receiving anything back? And I will guarantee your subconscious mind is so enormously powerful. It will answer you, it will give you guidance, it will tell you, what beliefs you hold, so that you can then go and reprogram. So for example, your subconscious, the answer that can come through, often it's a feeling, it's an intuition, it's an all-knowing, it will be, it could be an answer around, that you don't feel supported, or maybe you don't feel worthy and deserving of receiving, that you don't, or maybe you have a belief, if you have been through trauma, if you have had a narcissistic parent or a parent with narcissistic tendencies, they kind of manipulated us into submission so much that we have created often beliefs that we are not allowed to receive that unconditional love and support, that for whatever reason there was something wrong with us. And children are so vulnerable in that stage between the time of conception and the age of about 7. All children are in the hypnagogic state, in a theta state, brainwave called theta, and we are basically absorbing information from our environment like a sponge. We don't have the conscious mind developed yet. We are, during sort of the hypnagogic state, we are forming beliefs, patterns, habits by observing our environment, or parents, or teachers, or the culture we live in, the religions, and what the rules are, what the beliefs are, what the environment sort of tells us that we should or shouldn't do, and we then store that as programs in our subconscious mind. And those programs are so enormously powerful, because once you learn something, or repeat it number of times, you learn it and your subconscious mind stores it, and it becomes a habit, it becomes a pattern. This is why you ever so often hear that saying that people are creatures of habit, because we are set up like that physiologically, so that we can learn something and then our subconscious mind stores it as a learned thing, as a program, and it then directs us as on an autopilot. So for example, imagine when you were a little baby, little kid, you were learning how to tie shoelaces. You would repeat it, I don't know, 2-3 times. You would be making mistakes, struggling, but then your parents have encouraged you, carry on, keep going, and eventually you would have learned how to tie your shoelaces. And the next time you do it, bang bang bang, you don't even have to consciously think about it, you're doing it on autopilot. This is what it means, doing something on autopilot. Or for example, learning to walk, same thing. You would do it, as you were learning to walk, you obviously, it took a while, it took a few months, but then you do it on autopilot. You don't have to think about every day how you walk. Your subconscious mind remembers that, and carries on that program on autopilot. And we also stored beliefs around money, you know, whether if you've had a lot of stuff around money, money isn't safe, you, or if, for example, your parents, and this happens like in my country a lot. I was born in Europe, in a little country called Slovakia, but I grew up in England. But at the time of growing up, I remember I've had, you know, our parents used to reward us or punish us around money. Like, you know, you have been a good person, you have good grades, you get some money. Or somebody else did better in school than you don't get any money, and it was her, and it was awful. But this is, you know, the environment I grew up in, and you then learn some programs that if somebody is doing better than you, you're not allowed to receive money. It's crazy when you think about it. But this program then controls your reality, what you create, what you attract, what you receive. So you may have a belief that you are not allowed to receive for whatever reason. And so what I would like you to encourage, what I would like to encourage you is really sit down, reflect on those beliefs where you are giving more than receiving, and then start really correcting that. And there are so many different ways how you can reprogram limiting beliefs. I personally studied a modality called Psyche. It's a modality, it's a neuroscientific approach to healing your limiting beliefs that has been created by psychotherapist, the American psychotherapist called Rob Williams, in collaboration with a famous neuroscientist called Jeff Fannin. And they've created this modality called Psyche that goes through basically all of the different belief points that as humans carry, beliefs around love, beliefs around money, beliefs about you know, giving, receiving, relationships, health, well-being, anything you can imagine. And they've created a framework that helps you to really tap into, to connect with that belief, tap into the power of the subconscious mind, and then reprogram it. And literally in a space of about 2 to 5 minutes, that negative belief point is gone forever, and you install a new belief simply through you know, a powerful intention and connection to the feeling of already having it. It's very similar to the law of attraction, but there are a few more steps around muscle testing and other things that they incorporated. And it's a really beautiful way to change or reprogram your limiting beliefs. But there are many other frameworks and that can really support you in this journey to reprogram those limiting beliefs where you are not receiving things you want, where you're holding yourself in lack unconsciously. And you can change it. The most beautiful thing is that you can change it at the flick of a finger. People who are awakened, who are spiritually quite advanced, I don't mean better off or anything, because I don't believe there is such a thing as, you know, as being better or worse. It's just people who have, for example, devoted their time to studying it, understanding it. They might be able to reprogram their limiting beliefs simply through the power of intention. And this is where the beautiful law of attraction comes in as well, which I have been studying for a number of years now, and recently have started to experience beautiful results with. And I have this a beautiful way how you can reprogram your limiting beliefs through the power of intention is simply by connecting to that which you want instead. So for example, if you are not receiving money, connect with receiving and set an intentions in a way, I intend to earn X amount of money, I intend to receive, or I intend to manifest, or whatever wording you want to use, but make sure you use the I intend X, Y, and Z. And then connect with, let's say, as an example, I intend to earn, I don't know, $10,000 a month, as an example. connect with the feeling and really surrender to your heart, to the feeling of already having it, the joy of having it. Imagine holding the money in your hand, smelling the money. Money is good. Money has never hurt anybody. Money is just energy. Money gives you option, gives you freedom. And really ask yourself, when I have this, when I'm earning this $10,000 a month, how do I feel? How does that make me feel? And then wait for your heart, for your body to answer, and it gives you the answer. It tells you, oh, I feel free, or I feel relieved, or I feel blissful, or I feel worthy, or whatever thing you get. Trust it, and then almost like dial up the feeling to 100%. If for example, if you got I feel free, imagine like putting your hand on a dial and dial up the feeling of free to 100% within your mind, within your body, within your spirit, within your heart, because the secret to creation is the feeling. That's the secret behind the law of attraction, behind manifesting anything in life, is the feeling. So dial it up to 100%, feel it. Imagine being so wealthy, so rich, so blissful, so free, so many options, so much freedom in your life. And then really connect with that for as long as you feel it's true for you. And then the next step in the creation is to feel like this is already mine, and release it. And as you're releasing it, you keep saying, I trust it's already mine and it's gonna come to me. And release it without fear, because once you connect with something like this, and once you're basically ordering it from the universe, and it's guaranteed to come to you. And then simply trust that this is already yours, and you will be amazed how quickly things will come to you. And you have just reprogrammed a belief. You may reprogram a belief around, I don't know, I'm worthy of receiving. Connect with the feeling. Imagine people giving you things. Imagine receiving and feeling the fulfillment, the balance, the harmony of receiving. And you can really reprogram anything with this framework that is true for you. So I would really like to encourage all of the women who are going through spiritual awakening, anybody really, a woman going through, and men going through twin flame journey, people who simply just want to raise their consciousness, feel more empowered, feel more balanced, feel like they are eager and hungry to become the best version of themselves that they can be. This framework can be used by anybody who is willing, who is committed to their success, and hungry to learn, hungry to experiment on themselves, because the experimentation, the integration of it is the most important thing. Play with it, like experiment on yourself. And the most important thing, be consistent, be committed, do this daily, and it will help you enormously to expand your consciousness and to balance yourself in such a beautiful, harmonious way, so that you can become the person you always wanted to be and have in your life, what you wanted to have in your life. And we go through such an extraordinary time in the human evolution at the moment, where I really believe that we have a responsibility to, especially as women, to commit to our own healing, to commit to allowing ourselves to have our own needs met. Because when we are happy, when I have clients who have children, when the mother is happy, the whole family is happy. When the mother feels fulfilled, she can give from an overflowing cup. She's not constantly drained and weakened by the burden of giving to everybody else. And giving is beautiful, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge giver. Even despite the fact that I have balanced this a lot better and created beautiful, healthy boundaries in my life, I love giving. Giving is my nature. I love being very generous. And so I'm not trying to tell you to change yourself in any way, but just to become a bit more balanced in areas where you feel you are maybe drained, you're overgiving, and you're not being appreciated. And you can you can change it so easily. And I really believe that we need to allow ourselves to have our own needs met first, because when we do, everybody else around us will receive the overflow of that energy, of the divine abundance, um, and will feel fulfilled, will feel uplifted just by our presence. And that is my mission in life, to be in the flow, to be in the constant mode of receiving abundance, so that I can not only fill myself with love and joy and abundance, but I can spread it around and share it, whether it's with my loved ones, my friends, my clients, and you guys, YouTube, I don't have a name for you yet, but I'm gonna come up with a beautiful name. At the moment, I call you beautiful souls. I want to be able to. My mission is to be able to overflow with that energy of abundance and joy on a continuous basis, so that I can give you from a cup that is always full and overflowing with divine bliss. I'm sending you so much love and light. I hope this message was inspiring for you. And I really encourage you to allow yourself to have your own needs met first, because when you are fulfilled, everybody else around you thrives and is fulfilled equally. I'm sending a lot of love and light from this beautiful part of Cyprus, where I'm living at the moment for a few months before I head back to London again. And I hope I can hear the birds singing. We had a glorious sunshine just a second ago. So that's it for today, really. Stay blissful, stay abundant, and hungry to become the best version of yourself you can be. I'm sending you a lot of love, peace, joy, and abundance. Namaste.